Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today finally we're back on with the old Sega Master System project. See if we can finally get this thing back up and working in nice running condition again. Now, in my previous video I think I'd said it was I could really only think it was down to one of two things, which is that Sega chip there or the CPU. Now, I think it was Gadget UK had mentioned perhaps trying a CPU, because I think there's a line that can go faulty on the Z80, and I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but basically if it goes faulty it can cause various issues because it doesn't address something and gets a memory interrupt or something like that. So I thought it's easy enough to try. We'll put a new CPU on there. Now I've taken the old one off, and I will say it didn't come off particularly cleanly. As you can see, it's in a bit of a state. Now I don't know why. One side the solder come off absolutely fine, the other side I was having an absolute nightmare getting all the holes to clear, and I must admit I was getting impatient, and I tried levering and fudging on it, and yeah, basically I ended up breaking some of the pins. So at that point I just, because it's just a Z80, I literally just ripped the thing off and then cleaned up the board. And the board's cleaned up nice, there's no damage to the board whatsoever. But yeah, that's obviously, if it did work before, it certainly doesn't work now. So I won't worry too much about that. Now, what my initial thought was, I was going to whip the Z80 off my little donor board here and try that on there, but it means desoldering a 40-pin package when I don't really need to, because we don't actually know whether this works, because this is a dead board. Well, obviously we've proved that the VDP off it worked, because that's what we've got running on this board now, but for the rest of this, like I said, this could have a fault on it. It could be the Z80 that's dead on this. So rather than that, I went through my my stock of Z80 processors, and I actually do have exact replacement for that there. It's the Zilog one, and it's exactly the same part number as what came off here. So that's what I'm going to fit. So before we can fit that though, we need to stick a socket on here, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm down to my last like 5 of these. I really need to order some more. And they're cheap enough from China, it's just to take a while to get here. And they're not bad, terrible quality actually. I actually quite like that about them, they don't have a centerpiece, because a lot of times, sometimes you have to sit these over another IC or something. You're having to snip that out anyway, so it's quite good that they haven't got it. But anyway, let's get this in the board. I bought all these for another project, and I ended up using them on everything else before I even started that project properly. So I will have to order some more. Hell, I bent a pin there. Let's just get something to straighten that out with. And the rain's finally coming down. I think everywhere is going to appreciate that, and we don't normally appreciate rain in the UK, but at the moment we definitely need that little bit of rain. Straighten these 2 pins that have got bent. There we go. Let's try that again. That way around. That's gone in. I think we've got it this time. Oops. Not 2 there, didn't want to go down. I think the holes are clear. I'll have to take that back out and just try it one more time, I think. Yeah, the holes look clear. I think they might have just been slightly out of alignment. Push these back in. There we go. Let's try that again. it might just be a little bit of let's try heating them up and pushing them through. There we go. The problem is there must have been a little bit of solder in these holes, so I'm just using that screwdriver and just heating them just to bring the rest of that leg through. Because I don't want to have to take the socket back out again now. I've got every other pin lined up, so. There we are. A little bit more. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing on the camera there. That's it. I mean, I could have taken the socket back out and sucked the holes out, but because it were a bit of a pain to get in. There we go, it's all in and lined up now. Right. Now, let's get some solder. I'll have to do. I'm out of really fine solder as well, something else I need to order. This is a little bit thick for doing this, but we'll see. And this is the first IC I've tried soldering in with this new iron, so I'll have to see how this goes. I can't say it's too bad. I find the tips a little bit on the large side for doing this type of work, but it does just about do the job. I certainly will be getting a different iron, I think. And I'll keep this for doing valve stuff, point-to-point wiring and radios and valve amplifiers and things like that. It's actually not a bad iron for things like that, but it's just a bit cumbersome for working on these things. I have noticed someone's been in here before me as well. Because there's a little bit of a repair to the conformal coating there. So something's obviously happened there in the past, and there's been a repair and it's been painted over. I don't know when that was done. Nearly there now. Last one. Okay. Oops, let's clean my iron off. Alright, well, that's I'll just give that a little bit of a clean up. We'll clean it up after, it's not too bad. The board's on okay. The socket looks like it's fitted on alright there. So let's stick a new Z80 in there. Now, which one did I say? It's that one. And these have all been tested. They are from my tested stock, so I know these are good. So we'll stick that in the new socket. There we go, so that's the Z80 replaced. I'll just pause you and find a power supply and what have you, and we'll get this connected up and see whether we've made any improvement to the video. So back in a second. Okay, we're all set up there. We've got the board. I've got a controller connected up to it. I've got a power supply connected up. Video out. It's got the new CPU in it. So I'll put you up onto the screen. There we go, and you can see what's happening on screen. Right, let's have a power up of this thing then. Switch on. We'll put the TV into AV mode. Let's power up and see what happens. I mean, this has worked up to this point anyway, but at least it shows that that CPU is running. Right, let's try hang on. No, I think we've probably already. I think we're still the same, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we're still the same. Still breaking up. So no, it's not the CPU that's the fault. So really, the only thing we have left is the custom Sega chip there. I honestly can't think what else it could be. I don't think it's the ROM, for the simple fact that the same fault happens if you put a cartridge game in as if you're playing off the original the inbuilt ROM. So I don't think it's the ROM. We could possibly try swapping the ROM off that scrap board here. At least it'll tell us what game we've got on here. I'm not 100% sure that they're going to be compatible actually, because this is a are they going to be compatible? I don't know whether they are. No, I don't think they are going to be compatible actually, because this is an issue. This is a later board. I think it actually has larger games on the ROM. I think it's a lot more advanced than the Mark 1. I don't think the Mark 1's anywhere near the capacity. I don't know actually, because that looks like it can take a bigger ROM chip than is actually there. If you look at the board, it's marked up for a 32-pin device, and I think it's got like a 28-pin in there. And there's that, a 32-pin device on here. It is, yeah. So maybe we can use the ROM off this and try the ROM off this on this Mark 1 board. That'd be quite interesting, because I think this is probably like it could be Alex Kidd. It's either Alex Kidd or Sonic on this, so we could possibly try getting that to work on the board. But I think before that, the next thing I'm going to try actually is that big custom Sega IC there. Because I don't think it's directly involved with the video, but I think it does do something to do with the video. Or at the very least, if it's failing and it's pulling a line that's related to the video down, it could still be causing the issue. And to be totally honest, I'm running out of ideas really with this. So yeah, I think that is going to be my next port of call. We will remove it from here. Hopefully we can get it off without doing any damage to it, like we did with that CPU there. That was a bit of a bugger, but I was having a real pain actually getting it off the board. And so I was more concerned about not damaging the board than damaging the CPU, because they're 10 a penny. I've got, you know, literally stacks of them. That, however, is a slightly different matter, because if that's not the fault, I don't want to ruin a custom Sega IC, which I could use possibly to repair another Sega, or even to put back on this board if I ever want to do anything with that board or try and get that board working. Because we've already proved that the video IC, the VDP there, isn't the fault, and we took that off that board, so we know we've got 2 working VDPs, because that's the VDP off the donor board. And I've got it on a piece of anti-static foam somewhere. I've got the VDP I took off this board, which I think is still in good condition, so we could always keep that as a spare for another Sega. Anyway, I'm probably going to leave it there for now. Like I said, this was just a quick update, so at least we've proved that it's not the processor that's the fault. So in the next video I think we'll be trying that chip, and then we may have a play about with the ROMs. More for curiosity than anything else, to see if I can get the ROM off that Mark II board to actually work on this Mark I. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this little update on the project. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.